Jack Reacher is an obsessive compulsive. There's a series on Amazon Prime, Jack Reacher, or it's just Reacher, and the series is it's 8 episodes, and the way it starts off is Jack Reacher comes into a town and he's quickly tagged for a murder he didn't commit, and it becomes clear right off the bat that Reacher's obsessive with when it comes to the details. He's an obsessive person. For example, he doesn't talk, but he listens. He listens. He picks up a lot of details about this crime uh, just from the cops small talking. And so when he's in the interrogation room, Chief Detective Finley tells him maybe your court appointed attorney will get you to open up because Reacher's not talking. Reacher says, I don't need a lawyer. And he goes, well, why not? And he goes, because I didn't kill anybody, at least not recently and not in this town. So notice Reacher is obsessive with being accurate, admitting that he's killed people, just not recently in this town. It's almost like he can't control himself. He just has to give the specific details. Um, Finley reads Finley reads his dossier and then adds, what if I'm thinking I'm sitting across the table from a man who doesn't mind killing and has the knowledge and the training to murder someone and cover it up? Again, Reacher comes back and says, you'd be right, but not this murder. 3 men dropped this body. So Finley says, enlighten me. He's going, well, this is information Finley didn't have. Reacher's already making connections with all his details, and he's already ahead of the game in terms of he knows more than Finley does. So Finley says, "Enlighten me." Maybe he's not sure whether he believes him or not. Reacher says the shooter was someone who knows firearms well. Bullets were small caliber, 9 mm, 95 grain. That's subsonic. A silencer was used. He also knew enough to pick up his brass. This wasn't a first timer. This was someone who knew how to conduct a quiet, effective kill. Okay, go on. You're also looking at a psycho who would beat up a body post mortem, someone completely unhinged, totally different profile from your professional shooter. Reacher then notices Finley's cup. This is the detective. He's sitting there and he's got a glass of water on the table. And Reacher notices that the water line of that glass is shaking. And so Reacher says, something wrong? Finley says, no, you said there was 3. So Reacher says, your psycho isn't going to be rational enough to know he needs to hide the body, and your meticulous shooter isn't going to do some sloppy job with roadside cardboard. The third guy is so worried about getting out of there, he grabs some nearby debris and just lays it on the corpse. You said the victim was big, so most likely his feet were sticking out, and that's how he got spotted. Tall people never have enough room for their feet. So, you know, the definition for compulsive is doing something a lot and unable to stop doing it. We've already seen how obsessive Reacher is with the details. He picks up on all the details, and he it's like the pieces of the puzzle, and he synthesizes all these details in his mind, and he puts together patterns, scenarios of how the crime unfolded. So that's why he's ahead of Detective Finley in this case because of his obsession with details. And in fact, one of his favorite lines is "details matter," which he says several times throughout the movies, the episodes. Now he's also compulsive, and early on, Jack Reacher finds himself in a prison cell along with another suspect. And right away, some real sickos enter his cell with the most demented ideas about what they're going to do to his wimpy little roommate. And so Reacher compulsively and without any hesitation inserts himself in between these sickos and his roommate, and proceeds to absolutely savage the leader of these 3 and pretty much destroy him in a matter of seconds. And this is like a compulsion he has in order to basically he believes that you have to the bad guys get what they deserve. And so this is a compulsive belief he has, and he just in that one scene he demonstrated his compulsivity towards violence. However, it's not just in a case like this where he's defending a weak person or even Well, I mean, let's take another example. Not long after this, Reacher and his little roommate go into the bathroom and they're just using the restroom. Four massive, brutal looking, super oversized beasts come into that prison bathroom and they're there to kill Reacher. Reacher doesn't hesitate. He launches into an absolutely devastating attack, and he takes out all four of them with like lightning. It's an incredible fight scene, and it's savagely brutal. And if he hadn't done it, he would have been a dead man. It was absolutely a life or death situation. And that's you might say, well, yeah, but it's self-defense, and of course that's exactly right. It was self-defense. Anyone in that situation, well, I mean, many people in that situation would do the exact same thing. They would fight. They would fight to save themselves. So, but Reacher does it like an ex-marine or a highly skilled fighter. So again, compulsive, doing something a lot and unable to stop doing it. This perfectly describes Reacher. Now, so far he's just been defending his roommate and defending his own life, but Reacher goes well beyond just self-defense. See, for Reacher, uh, violence is one of his three top problem-solving skills. Okay, so in other words, he doesn't just defend himself; he'll use violence in order to get information, and he has no problem with that at all. So he has his other skills for problem solving would include, of course, his uh, obsessive. I'm sorry, yeah, obsessive. His obsession with details. He's obsessed with the details, and then his mental work in terms of synthesizing those details and constructing scenarios. So so there you go. Reacher's an obsessive compulsive, and it's a good movie. I recommend it with some reservation. I mean, the language is unfortunate. If you're offended by the language, you have to almost overlook the language. It's a shame. In my books, for example, I avoid that. And some people have criticized me for not using a bad language. And then there's also some rated R scenes, which I strongly recommend skipping over. They're it's unfortunate. One thing about Hollywood movies that I find really annoying is the fact that they put these rated R scenes in that really who wants to see that anyway? It just forces me to have to skip over those scenes. But other than that, I recommend the movie. It's an excellent episodes. So there you go. That's Jack Reacher, Obsessive Compulsive. Thanks for watching. It's Roger Weston.